The Bayanihan auditorium buzzed with tension, a thick, almost electric anticipation that seemed to hang in the air, pressing down on every shoulder. Rows of students filled the seats, their faces a mix of hope, anxiety, and curiosity, each one wondering what the day would bring. Manila's relentless heat mingled with the weight of expectation, sunlight streaming through the high windows and glinting off beads of sweat on foreheads. The air was heavy, not just with humidity, but with the dreams and worries of hundreds of young minds. On stage, Mr. Harrison Blackwood, a billionaire whose suit cost more than a year's tuition, adjusted his cufflinks. He was the guest of honor, a man whose name was synonymous with success, and whose presence alone seemed to draw a line between the world of the stage and the world of the seats. Blackwood's world was one of private jets, gleaming boardrooms, and high-stakes deals. For the students, life was measured in jeepney rides, shared meals, and the daily hustle to make ends meet. Their realities could not have been more different. The divide between them was more than just wealth. It was a chasm of experience, of upbringing, of what it meant to dream and to struggle. On one side, privilege and opportunity. On the other, resilience and hope. Blackwood saw life as a game to be won, a series of calculated risks and bold moves. For the students, life was a daily test of endurance, a challenge to keep going despite the odds stacked against them. The stories he would share were of fortunes made and empires built, of daring leaps and spectacular successes. The stories the students lived were quieter, waking before sunrise to help their families, studying by candlelight when the power went out, sharing textbooks and dreams in crowded dorm rooms. The distance between the bright stage and the dimly lit seats felt like an ocean. Vast, daunting, and almost impossible to cross. Yet, both sides watched each other, searching for a bridge. The air conditioner above the stage cooled Blackwood in his tailored suit, while the students fanned themselves with notebooks, sweat trickling down their backs. Comfort and discomfort, side by side. One man had come to talk about building empires, about conquering markets, and making millions. He spoke the language of ambition, of vision, of relentless drive. The rest just wanted to learn how to build a life, how to find a job, support their families, and maybe, just maybe, change their own destinies. They listened intently, hoping for a spark of wisdom that could light their way. The room was a universe of contrasts, wealth and want, confidence and uncertainty, dreams that soared and dreams that struggled to take flight. All of it waiting, holding its breath for something to happen. Two worlds, side by side, each hoping to be understood, each hoping that today, in this auditorium, a connection could be made that would change everything. The moment for connection was about to arrive, a single instant where stories might cross, and for a heartbeat, the distance between two worlds could disappear. In the crowd sat Leo, a face among many, yet carrying a story that few could imagine. He was a thin boy with sharp, searching eyes, a young man whose life was defined by scarcity, but also by a quiet determination that set him apart. His father spent long hours behind the wheel of a jeepney, weaving through Manila's crowded streets, while his mother stood for hours in the bustling market, selling vegetables to make ends meet. Every day in Leo's home was a careful calculation of pesos and centavos, each coin counted and recounted, every expense weighed against what little they had. Leo's mornings began before the sun rose, his hands already busy helping his mother at the market, before squeezing into a crowded jeepney for the long commute to university, a journey fueled by hope as much as necessity. Lunch was often just a piece of bread and a cup of water, eaten quietly and alone in the library, surrounded by the hum of other students who never seemed to notice him. Poverty was his constant companion, etched into the faded fabric of his shirt, visible in the frayed edges of his school uniform, and in the way he walked with careful steps to make his worn-out shoes last a little longer. He lingered at school long after classes ended, not just for the quiet to study, but to save on electricity at home, stretching every resource as far as it would go. For Leo, the prospect of needing a new textbook was a crisis, not a mere inconvenience. Each price tag a reminder of what he could not afford. He excelled in class, his hand always raised, his mind sharp and eager, but academic success could not fill his empty stomach or buy him a new pair of shoes. Sometimes Leo wondered if people saw him at all, or if they only saw the poverty that clung to him like a shadow, if they noticed the boy behind the struggle. He lived two lives: the promising scholar, celebrated for his achievements, and the boy who quietly counted every coin, always aware of how little stood between him and hunger. Each day, he measured his life in centavos, stretching every peso, making choices that most of his classmates never had to consider. The weight of being unseen, of carrying his family's hopes and his own dreams in silence, was heavier than any textbook he ever carried. As Leo listened, a question grew inside him, born from years of quiet shame. He remembered a classmate's joke, "I might catch your poverty." Was poverty a sickness? Was it contagious? He felt his lack was a stain, a barrier others saw. Around him, he saw classmates with the same worn shoes, the same silent struggles. They were united by hardship, but to outsiders, just a faceless mass. Did people like Blackwood see them as individuals, or as a problem to avoid? Leo's question wasn't about economics, it was about humanity. He wanted to know if the wall he felt was real. The need to be seen, to be understood, was stronger than his fear. Mr. Blackwood took the stage, radiating confidence. He began with a story of humble beginnings, a loan from his father larger than Leo's family would ever see. His advice? Think big, never take no for an answer. Failure is not an option. For the students, failure meant hunger, not lost profits. His stories of risk and reward felt distant, even alien. He spoke of climbing ladders, unaware that for many, there was no ladder at all. Blackwood believed in meritocracy, blind to the barriers his audience faced. His words, meant to inspire, only widened the gap. He spoke from a world of opportunity to a room of constraint. The distance between those worlds had never felt greater. As the Q&A began, Leo's hand rose, trembling. The professor called on him. The room fell silent. Leo stood, voice shaking. "Sir, do you think poverty is contagious?" The question stunned the room, simple, profound, and raw. It was not about business, but about dignity and isolation. The students recognized it instantly. It was their question too. Leo's words gave voice to a silent ache. For the first time, he was seen. Mr. Blackwood froze, his practiced smile gone. The question struck him deeper than any business query. For a moment, the world stopped in the Bayanihan auditorium. The billionaire was speechless. The boy in the faded shirt had changed the conversation. The room waited for an answer that could not be rehearsed. On stage, Blackwood felt unprepared for the first time in years. Leo's question echoed, "Is poverty contagious?" He looked at the students and truly saw them, their hope, their struggle. His usual answers felt hollow. He realized his struggles were nothing like theirs. His success was built on opportunities they never had. The polished shell cracked. I don't know," he admitted, voice unsteady. "But the fact you ask tells me we failed you." He stepped away from the podium, speaking honestly. "We talk about breaking poverty, but not about the wall it creates between people." In that moment, Blackwood was learning, not teaching. The lesson was about humanity, not wealth. Blackwood's honesty transformed the room. The tension dissolved, replaced by connection. Students saw not a billionaire, but a vulnerable human being. Leo felt relief. He was heard, not judged. The students became a community, united by shared experience. The shame of poverty lost its power in the open. The us versus them faded. Empathy grew. Questions shifted from personal gain to collective responsibility. Leo's question opened everyone's eyes, not just Blackwood's. Hope replaced expectation, a fragile, beautiful hope. The event was a beginning, not an end. Blackwood returned to his world changed, realizing true change required closeness and listening. He started a foundation focused on mentorship and real opportunities, not just donations. He returned to the university as a partner, not a distant benefactor. Leo became one of the first scholars in the new program. He finished with honors, never forgetting the feeling of being invisible. Leo became a mentor, offering empathy and understanding to others. Success, he learned, was about lifting others up. The boy who felt like an outcast became a bridge builder. The billionaire learned that life was a community to nurture. Two men from different worlds, set on new paths by a single trembling question. Their journey began together, in a hot, crowded auditorium. Leo and Blackwood's story is a lesson for us all. A reminder that the most profound changes in our lives often begin with a simple act of understanding. Their journey shows us that the bridges we build between each other are not made of grand gestures, but of small, meaningful moments. The greatest divides in our society are built from misunderstanding, not just from money or material wealth. It's easy to see the differences between us, but much harder to recognize the invisible walls that misunderstanding creates. These walls can separate classmates, neighbors, even entire communities. Charity is not just about giving things or offering help from a distance. True charity is about giving empathy and attention, about truly seeing and hearing another person. When we listen with our hearts, we offer something far more valuable than material gifts. Empathy is the world's most valuable currency. Unlike money, it never runs out. The more we give, the richer we all become. It enriches both the giver and the receiver, creating a cycle of kindness and understanding that can transform lives. When Blackwood took the time to see through Leo's eyes, he discovered a new depth of humanity within himself. He learned that true wealth comes from connection, not possessions. And when Leo felt truly seen and heard, he gained the strength and confidence to help others be seen as well. Empathy gave him the courage to reach out and lift others up. Empathy breaks down walls and turns us and them into we. It reminds us that, beneath our differences, we all share the same hopes, dreams, and struggles. Change doesn't always start with grand gestures or sweeping reforms. Sometimes it begins with a single honest question, a moment of vulnerability and curiosity that opens the door to understanding. Leo's question was more than words. It was an invitation to step into another's world, to see life from a new perspective, and to build a bridge where there once was a gap. In accepting that invitation, both Leo and Blackwood's worlds changed forever. They discovered that empathy can turn strangers into friends, and friends into family. Let's not fear difficult questions or moments of uncertainty. These are the moments that challenge us to grow and connect more deeply with those around us. One honest question, one moment of truly listening, can spark new beginnings and create ripples of change that reach far beyond ourselves. That is a lesson worth more than any fortune, a lesson that can shape not just our own lives, but the world we share.